About today, we have quite an interesting person with us who is also a senior advocate in the Supreme Court. Jaideep Gupta, surprisingly, is also a trained musician.
মনে পড়ে রুবিরায় কবিতায় তোমাকে একদিন কত করে ডেকেছি আজ হায় রুবিরায় ডেকে বলো আমারে তোমাকে কোথায় যেন দেখেছি.
We are also promoting your Bengali music now.
There is still a harmonium next to my working desk in my residence, and I still do exactly that. मेरे ख्यालों के आंगन में कोई सपनों के दीप जलाए दीप जलाए.
There was a time in your life when you had to pick between music and law, and you chose to pick law.
If I consciously decided to stay back for the conference or not, but I thought I didn't have any choice. I'm thinking more about Bob Marley than the current generation of rap. Are you implying that I am the elder generation?
So I don't think I need to imply it's a fact too. But sir, what about rap? Do you like rap?
I like anything which has rhythm.
Okay.
So rap has rhythm.
Hello everyone, welcome to Livelaw. I'm Advocate Nazarat Fatima, and I'm more than glad to share with you all that this is the third guest we're having with us today on this series. Speaking of which, this series has been introduced by Livelaw, where we introduce different kinds of people, different kinds of lawyers. We actually invite the people from legal fraternity who also have an interest in art and the other forms of it. Earlier, we did an interview with Senior Advocate Anjana Prakash and Senior Advocate Raju Ramachandran. Very interesting videos, quite inspiring stories. I think you should go and check it out. And about today, we have quite an interesting person with us who is also a senior advocate in the Supreme Court. Jaideep Gupta, surprisingly, is also a trained musician, which is not something we get to hear a lot. A trained musician and also a lawyer. These two things don't just seem to go in one sentence, for me at least. I will not want to talk on his behalf. I think, sir, you should carry this forward. So please tell us about your interests and just start with anything that you want.
We had a family of people who were very interested in music.
Okay.
When I was still a child, my grandmother started teaching me music, and the first thing that she taught me was, of course, the national anthem. It was like that for the first few years. Then, of course, studies take over and you become involved and all that. So I didn't pursue that at that stage. But when we finished our school examinations, and I'm the first batch which had class 10 reintroduced. So when the class 10 exams were over, in Calcutta we had a long wait before the 11th class would start. So the common thing to do during that time was to learn French, German or Russian, or typing. Now I came from a family of lawyers as well, and there were stenographers typing away furiously downstairs in the ground floor of our residence. So the question of learning typing didn't arise.
Okay.
So I went back to my old interest and I said, can I learn music? And initially there was not that much interest in this idea because, you know, as boys grow up, they don't learn music. If girls are growing up, they learn music. So that was the kind of what should I say, the kind of thought process that went into it. But there were people in the family who were professional musicians, and one of them ran a music school also.
Oh.
So an elderly aunt who said that I shall organize somebody to come and teach you at home. Somehow that made it easier. So between the end of my 10th exams and the time when I left after college to study law in the University of Cambridge, I regularly learnt music from a gentleman who happened to pass away when I was in the UK. When I came back, there was nobody left to train me, but whatever stage of training I had reached, I was able to practice for the rest of my life.
Oh.
And that's how this interest abides.
So did you have more trainers after that, or did you just, would you also like to call yourself like a self-taught artist after that?
No, the volume of music that was actually, that I did actually during those 5-6 years was so much that even today, just to go back to that and keep up with it is quite Herculean. So I've never actually learnt music thereafter. Of course, everybody who knows music will pick up songs and musical pieces as they go along.
It feeds on its own.
Yeah,
somehow.
so it's that we do, that I do on and off. And
Sir, I was expecting to talk about like a sad story where you say you were not allowed to pursue music. It would take a very dramatic turn, but good that you didn't have to go through it, but not very good for this conversation. It would be very dramatic. But anyway, sir, who is the first artist that actually influenced you or that you're inspired by? You know, somebody, I think everybody has at least one or two such people that you know, look up to and you somehow follow their path. So who was it for you?
So I should tell you that when I was growing up, there used to be what is known as the 78 RPM records.
Okay.
78 revolutions per minute. Later on, the 33 RPM records became more popular. So these 78 RPM records, we used to have a lot of them lying around in the house.
Oh.
And there were one or two people who were, of course, the favorites, not my favorites, but favorites of my previous generation, perhaps. And at least one or two of them became inspirational.
Okay.
And the name that comes to mind most, because that's what used to play over and over in the gramophone, was a gentleman called Devabroto Biswas, who was a very popular singer of Rabindra Sangeet.
Okay.
So, and also there was another gentleman who was even more senior to him. His name is more famous across the country. His name was Pankaj Kumar Mallik. Pankaj Mallik was not only a Rabindra Sangeet singer, but he sang what was known in Bengal as Adhunik songs, which meant modern songs.
Okay.
And he also became one of the first composers of music in Hindi films.
Okay.
So he became quite a famous person in Bombay as well over a period of time. He used to run for a very long time a program on All India Radio called Sangeet Shikkar Ashor, which meant that he used to teach people on the radio.
Oh, that's...
Everybody in Calcutta or in Bengal who was interested would tune in. It was roughly around 9 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday. Everybody would tune in and try to learn what he was trying to teach on the radio.
So as you speak, there's a lot of Bengali element in it. So it gives rise to a question. While growing up as a musician, of course, like not a professional musician, but while growing into music, did Bollywood influence you in any way? Like for you, was it more like Bollywood or was it more like the cultural effect on you?
So Bollywood enters my life much later. Why? Because in our segment of middle class Bengali society, going for Hindi movies was not considered very kosher.
Oh.
So therefore, I didn't see a Hindi movie till 1970 or something like that.
Okay.
Or maybe 69, 70, something like that. The first Hindi movie that I ever saw, and because it's so rare, I remember it vividly, was while traveling with my father when he went on work to Allahabad. There was an evening free, and the whole gang of lawyers who was with him decided to go and see a Hindi movie called Farz. Farz. This was in the 60s, 67 or so. And it was, I mean, I don't know why we went, because nobody in that group was remotely interested in Hindi movies. But all I remember is that Jitendra was wearing white shoes
Okay.
and rolling down a hillside. So actually the first movie that I remember seeing and being influenced by, and I must say that thereafter I was very fond of Bollywood.
This was the beginning for you.
This was the beginning. The first one was the movie called Anamika,
Okay.
which had a magnificent song. The music generally was very good. It was R.D. Burman, but it had a magnificent song called Meri Bhigi Bhigi Sea.
Okay.
Palko mein reh gaye, etc.,
Yes.
etc.
I know.
Which is also actually, interestingly, it was even more famous as a Bengali song initially.
So
But
what was it as a Bengali song?
it was Mone Pore Ruby Rai.
How do you feel about it, sir? Your songs being converted into something else. How do you feel about it generally?
Nothing. It was brilliant. It was absolutely brilliant because the same music directors, the same composers use their material freely in Bengali as well as in Hindi. And they were not even similar. I mean, the tune was the same, but you know how it is.
Just
na?
the same melody.
It's the same melody, but you know how you can change the entire feel of the song.
And
The feel of the song can change completely.
Sir, so you talked about this Bengali song that was later made into a Bollywood song. I hope I don't create a controversy here by stating the wrong facts. I hope that's the case.
No, that is the case.
So
yes.
can you sing it for us, a little bit of it, so that the people know what you're talking about?
All right, let me try. The Bengali song, which is still very popular, because Rahul Dev Burman himself composed it, he sang it also.
Okay.
It went something like this. মনে পড়ে রুবি রায় কবিতায় তোমাকে একদিন কত করে ডেকেছি আজ হায় রুবি রায় ডেকে বলো আমারে তোমাকে কোথায় যেন দেখেছি.
So beautiful. There's that sweetness in the language also. It's a blend of that. So, sir, who was your favorite artist? I mean, I'm not sure if you have just one favorite artist, but
No, you can't have one favorite artist. There are already we have spoken about more than one genre of music. So when you are moving genres, you'll change your favorite artist.
so something that you're emotionally, someone whose voice is emotionally more pleasing, when you're feeling very vulnerable and there's this one singer that you want to listen to.
So when it came to Rabindra Sangeet, Devabrata Bishwas was our favorite singer in those days. When it came to Hindi music, by far the greatest influence in our lives was Kishore Kumar.
I was expecting that.
Because even though later on I realized that Mohammad Rafi was also an amazing singer, but somehow initially, right at the beginning, we were all great fans of Kishore Kumar.
So what about Mohammad Rafi later?
Later, of course, one cannot but say that he's a genius.
Definitely.
And there are other people who I became very fond of later on in Hindi music, like Hemant Kumar and Mukesh and other singers. But the hold that Kishore had on you was
Okay. Sir, a bit of a difficult question. What about the present times? Do you think that in the present times you actually find that standard that you have, listened to when you were younger?
Actually, I must say that I'm slightly out of touch with the exact present. I was perhaps in touch all through, but just now I'm not so sure that I can remember. In the middle, Sonu Nigam was a very, very good singer. There were all these people who came in who were known in Bengali as Kishore Konti.
Oh.
Kishore Konti was a person who resembled Kishore Kumar.
Okay.
One of the
So you had like a doppelganger.
doppelganger. So one of the best known examples of a doppelganger is Kumar Shanu.
Okay.
His name is Kedarnath Bhattacharya. He's not Kumar Shanu at all, but he chose that name when he went to.
So does he look like him or does he sing like him?
He sings
the
like
voice doppelganger.
There's a voice. There's an element in his
Even
voice
better.
which reminds us of Kishore.
Okay, sir, do you also sing and compose? Have you ever tried singing, like writing your own songs and composing your own songs?
No.
You've never done that?
In fact, I really envy people who can compose music because I can't figure out how to do it.
Sir, do you write?
Writing? You mean lyrics?
Yeah, lyrics.
There is a famous saying that all Bengalis are poets at some stage, but I always preferred prose to poetry.
Okay, so you didn't have that phase at all?
I don't think I had the phase of writing poetry. We did have college magazines and school magazines where we did put 5 or 6 lines of some kind of poetry, but it wasn't my favorite form of literature. It still isn't my favorite form of literature.
Okay. Sir, because you have been a lawyer for so many years now and you've done tremendously great in that field, how were you able to manage? This is a question I put to everybody who comes here and sits in front of me and we have this conversation. I always ask people, how were you able to manage law and music together? Because law is something that requires a lot of time for you to become something. You can either be like a very average lawyer. I shouldn't be saying that, but I don't know how politically correct that is. But you can either be not a good lawyer, and if you're a good lawyer, you actually have to invest, and there has to be a lot of time that you give to it. So actually placing these two things together in the same sentence, that there's a person who is a very good lawyer, a significant person in the field, and is also a trained musician. So how did you manage? Because I, as a junior, don't think I can actually think beyond that field. When I'm doing something legal, I don't think I can actually think about anything else. So how did it happen for you?
So I'll tell you a story. When I came back from UK after finishing my studies and I joined the profession, I was still in the mode where I wanted to participate in concerts and all that. So in one of Calcutta's best known clubs, there was going to be a music program. And so I signed up for it.
So you were going to sing?
Yes.
So you have actually sung?
On stage, yes.
Oh, wonderful. I didn't know that. I think I should have talked about it.
No. That's fine. So then, so people said, will you join in? I said yes. And then we had a couple of rehearsals and things were going well. And then there was a dress rehearsal.
Okay.
On the day of the dress rehearsal, I was required to go for a conference with one of Calcutta's most senior lawyers at that stage. His name was Mr. Gautam Chakravarti. And I had to draft a plaint and take it to him to get it settled by him. Mm-hmm. So I went. And this was well before the dress rehearsal time. But after looking at my plaint, he very politely, he obviously thought very little of it, but very politely he said, why don't you make a few changes here and there? And then he started dictating to me and I started taking it down. Okay. Soon I realized he was dictating the plaint from beginning to end.
Okay. It was like a new note.
It was actually like a new plaint altogether.
Okay.
So, as you may expect, it went on for hours.
Now we have a sad story, finally. Now there's a bit of drama.
So therefore, naturally, I could not go for the dress rehearsal.
Okay, so actually there was a time in your life when you had to pick between music and law. And you chose to pick law. That's why I introduced you like a lawyer and a musician, not a musician and a lawyer.
Yeah, well, I don't know if I consciously decided to stay back for the conference or not, but I thought I didn't have any choice at that stage.
That's where the money came from, probably.
Not only the money, I think by that time I was at least clear that I wasn't starting out of a career as a musical professional. Yes.
Sir, we're talking about the balance. So, what about the balance? Like, because you said you still sing, you still know singing, even though the training stopped at one point, but you still continued, you still chose to sing for the rest of your life. Mm-hmm. So have there been times when you actually actively, participated in music even when you were a lawyer? Like you made sure that this happens, this doesn't go away from your life.
So I'll tell you exactly what the situation is. From my school days and from the time that I took to music, started learning it. The main instrument that accompanies Indian music is the harmonium. It's not an Indian instrument, it's a German instrument, but it's the main instrument that we use. Even as a child, I have learnt on what was a harmonium organ. That's not the ordinary harmonium that you see. Okay. It's a harmonium organ which you play with your feet. You bellow with your feet, but you play on the keyboard. So there was one such in our house, and it still exists in my house in Calcutta. So one such harmonium, not a harmonium organ, but a harmonium, which was the instrument that I used to use, would be next to my study table in my bedroom at all times. So if I took a break from work, I would sit down with it, and that was one of the ways to relax. There is still a harmonium next to my working desk in my residence, and I still do exactly that. If I take a gap, I go and sit down.
I think that's a wonderful thing. I think that's something we should incorporate, because what happens these days is if you're taking a break, you just you open your phone, you open some app, some social media app, and you start scrolling.
Yes.
And I think that's not a good practice at all. I think this is something we actually should incorporate. And so,
and then I should tell you one significant thing. Of course, as you go along, the time you give to it is not much. But we had one blessing. We can say a blessing in disguise. We were not allowed to move out or do anything during COVID times.
okay.
That was the time to revive.
Okay, that was the revival time.
Yeah,
for you.
that was the revival time, because
So
there was
did you-
nothing better to do.
So while that thing was going on,
Yes.
did you actually, invest in music those days, and did you revive all of that?
Yes, I did a lot of practicing at that point of time,
After how many years would that be?
more than 30 years.
So I don't think you can ever say that COVID was a bad thing then. I mean, that's...
COVID, to those who did not
You knew how
either
to...
suffer physically or did not suffer economically, was an amazing time. It really was.
You made the best out of it.
Yeah.
So I think it was actually a time for everybody to, sort of...
To revive their other...
reunite with people that they
other
don't usually
instincts.
sit
Yes,
with, and,
yes.
cater to other their hobbies and other things
I
like
think
that.
so. I think so.
Sir, in your initial years of practice, being in the field of litigation, I'm sure you must have had a lot of work just like everybody else, regardless of the fact that you were a fourth-generation lawyer. I'm sure you had your own hard times to deal with. But did music ever play a part in your life? As in, did it help you cut through that journey of that hard litigation? Did you feel like this was your piece and this was that go-to for you? You feel upset, you're vulnerable, and you want to listen to music, and this helps and this heals. So has it had a healing effect? Because this is something I think everyone has to say about music,
Yes.
that it has the healing effect. But to what extent? Like, how much has it helped you in dealing with your profession?
Enormously. There is a brilliant line in Bhumika. Bhumika is a movie by Shyam Benegal, which is about an artist who, a Marathi artist, who at some stage is contemplating giving up music. And her mother, who is also an artist in her time, and this is a real story, tells her that don't give it up. It is ultimately going to be what stands between you and sanity. I think it's true for all of us who like music. The best way to heal is music. There may be other things for other people, but for those who like music,
So I think it's even, I don't think that there are people who don't like music. I've not met anybody who says I don't like music.
there are people who are not.
Who don't like it
Primarily
very much,
interested
but
in
they
it.
don't also dislike it.
I actually know of a story of a person who disliked music.
My God.
She was the wife of a very famous composer of Bengali music. And their marriage fell apart because she thought that the husband was spending too much time on music.
So that is
And-
context.
No, and by the way, the husband was a top lawyer of Lucknow. A Bengali gentleman, one of the most famous composers of light Bengali music of the post Tagore era, almost same time. But his marriage failed because his wife thought she said that I don't enjoy listening to music, and he spends all his time doing that. So it's not true that everybody likes music. And some people are indifferent to it.
Yes, indifferent, definitely. It's a bit of a different question, but sir, what about rap? do you like rap?
I like anything which has rhythm.
Okay.
So rap has rhythm.
Last time the guest we had invited to our to the series said that there's a problem with rhythm, that he's not able to pick the concept of rhythm. And now ironically you say that it's all about rhythm. Anything that has rhythm you like it.
Rap has rhythm. Definitely it has rhythm.
Are there some recognized artists that you remember?
No, I'm not. I don't follow modern Western music, nor do I actually know much about classical Western music.
But you like rap.
But no, it's not that I like it. It's just that I can listen to it without any difficulty, and I can appreciate it.
It's easier to accommodate you in the Gen Z.
Sure.
So
I don't know. I don't know about that. I'm thinking more about Bob Marley than the current generation of rap.
So, but you can be accommodated because you said you listen.
Yes.
So it'll be fine.
I'll be happy to listen.
Great.
Except for techno music, I like everything else.
Okay. Because we're talking about music and it's been quite an interesting conversation. I remember coming across a lot of your videos on your social media profiles. And I think it's very interesting that we have a person with us who is not actively pursuing music, but definitely is deeply interested in it. We're going to show you some clips where Sir would be singing, and beautiful clips. Let me not judge it before you watch it. So these are the clips for you.
জীবন মরণ সুখ দুঃখ দিয়ে বক্ষে ধরিব জড়ায়ে চরণ ধরিতে দিও গো আমারে নিও না সরায়ে স্খলিত শিথিল কামনার ভার বহিয়া বহিয়া ফিরি কতবার স্খলিত শিথিল কামনার ভার বহিয়া বহিয়া ফিরি কতবার নিজ হাতে তুমি গেথে নিও হার ফেলো না আমারে ছড়ায়ে চরণ ধরিতে দিও গো আমারে নিও না সরায়ে বিকায়ে বিকায়ে দিন আপনারে পারি না ফিরিতে দুয়ারে দুয়ারে বিকায়ে বিকায়ে দিন আপনারে পারি না ফিরিতে দুয়ারে দুয়ারে তোমারি করিয়া নিয়োগ আমারে বরণের মালা পরায়ে চরণ ধরিতে দিও গো আমারে নিও না সরায়ে
Beautiful clips, beautiful voice. I don't think I can judge this person's voice definitely. Sir, now that we have listened to a recorded version, which again is during the COVID times, right? So, would you like to sing? Not would you? I wouldn't ask you. Would you like to sing? I would request you to please sing something for the viewers, so that they get to listen to some beautiful music coming from a senior advocate, which is quite surprising. So, which song would it be?
Beautiful or not, I don't know, but I find in Delhi people are not interested so much in Bengali music, so I'll try something which is transitional, which transits from
This
Bengali
also
to
becomes very promotional.
yes.
We are also promoting your Bengali music now. So let's start with. So, would you be singing Hindi right now?
So I'll try a Bollywood song
Oh, lovely.
of the 60s.
Okay. Do you want me to play the? Tantra
Yes, if
or
you can.
something?
Yes, just helps a little bit. कहीं दूर जब दिन ढल जाए सांझ की दुल्हन बदन चुराए चुपके से आए मेरे ख्यालों के आंगन में कोई सपनों के दीप जलाए कहीं दूर जब दिन ढल जाए सांझ की दुल्हन बदन चुराए छुपके से आए.
Such a beautiful song, so beautifully sung. And sir, what's the reason you actually chose to sing this song? There must be something, I'm sure.
It's of course a very beautiful song from the movie Anand, and it's quite philosophical also. But one of the reasons why we are very fond of this song is that not only was it composed by what we consider to be the most significant composer of music, Bengali music, after Rabindranath Tagore. His name was Shalil Chaudhary. But also because he actually had composed this originally in Bengali.
Oh,
and
the Bengali element has kicked in again.
Yes, it has. And it was, I think, recorded originally by Hemant Kumar.
Okay. So now that we've talked about it and the Bengali element has kicked in, I would again request you to please sing that song for the viewers.
আমায় প্রশ্ন করে নীল ধ্রুব তারা আর কত কাল আমি রব দিশাহারা জবাব কিছুই তার দিতে পারি নাই শুধু পথ খুঁজে কেটে গেল এ জীবন সারা আমায় প্রশ্ন করে নীল ধ্রুব তারা আর কত কাল আমি রব দিশাহারা
So beautiful, sir, because you have a very, I don't know how exactly to put it in words, but you have quite, in layman's language, you have quite a heavy voice, which is preferred when it comes to men. I mean, it's the actual definition of a good voice. So did you ever feel like recording songs? Why is your music not out? That's my question.
No, first thing I should tell you is that the voice is a matter of training. There are a few people on this earth who have, without training, produced great music.
Yes. Raw artists.
Raw artists. I think the most famous raw artist was Kishore Kumar himself. But I have never, of course, contemplated it as a profession.
It never occurred to you that you wanted to be like a full-time musician?
No, and frankly, I don't think I was good enough to do that.
So I think we would let the viewers decide that. But let's not say that you were not good. You have a very beautiful voice, sir, definitely.
Thank you.
But I would really wish for such voices to actually form into songs. For, imagine there would be a lawyer and his song would be out and all the lawyers would know that it's this famous song comes from a senior advocate. That would be quite interesting. I hope you do that. I hope you consider that.
Okay, then in that event, let me actually introduce the gentleman who I spoke about a little while back. His name is Otul Prasad Sen. Atul Prasad Sen was a barrister.
Oh,
He came back to India and practiced in Lucknow. He has produced a whole genre of amazing Bengali music, which is actually influenced heavily by the Thumri tradition
oh,
of Lucknow.
all right.
So there you are. Lawyers have produced
Lovely
music.
learning about that. Sir, would you like to talk to our viewers and tell them about how your hobbies and your profession should go together? Because it's very difficult to, especially for the young lawyers, it's very difficult to actually be in the field of litigation or whatever they're doing, whatever they're pursuing, and also take care of the other things which are very close to your heart.
Yes.
That artist in you should not die, I believe. So what would your advice be?
It must never be allowed to die. If you have learned something or if something is part of you, then it should never be let go of. And we all have disappointments, bad days, difficult judges. And what do you do then? One of my hugely respected seniors, Mr. Rohington Nariman, used to take out his frustrations by going and cycling all the way from his residence in South Calcutta to South Delhi to Sultanpur. So everybody needs something. Some people go and play sports, whatever. So whatever it is that you are comfortable doing or which you enjoy doing, then it is something which is worth preserving.
Speaking of which, sir, you mentioned that the younger lawyers should actually cater to their interests. They should somehow keep it alive. So do you think the elder generation has a role to play in letting people be what they want to be?
Are you
That's
implying that I am the elder generation?
So I don't think I need to imply it's a fact too, but
Yes.
but do you think the elders have a role to play? You know, because see, everybody is not everybody is not that lenient with work. There are certain people who might be very strict about work. So do you think they have a role to play in these in the lives of these younger lawyers?
Very much so. I think the seniors should definitely encourage juniors to pursue the rest of their life, because what we didn't talk about before and we now have begun to talk about is the mental health of lawyers.
Yes, definitely.
And the mental health of lawyers is an issue which has to be dealt with. And how best can we do it other than by encouraging our juniors to take time out, especially if they are coming out and stating that they are going through a difficult patch, and encouraging them to take their mind off the profession and do
Because
something
at times
else.
it feels like you don't have a life outside of it. Your
Yes.
life somehow is confined to this one thing, which is very tasking and it can be very taxing at times. So of course your mental health will go haywire.
Yes.
It's quite
and
obvious.
you see that if for a brief period your profession is not giving you your self-esteem, then how will you get your self-esteem back? You can only do that by going back to something else which you did well in
Yes.
life. And that will restore your self-esteem.
So did you subtly request the elders to be more considerate?
Most definitely, because nowadays we are conscious of mental health issues. There was a time when if you raised the question of mental health, you were considered to be a weak person.
Yeah, it was stigmatized.
You were stigmatized. And the older generation would say that
It doesn't exist.
just get out of it.
Yeah,
Just
pray.
forget it.
Just pray or do things that
Yes.
help you feel good. They didn't
Yes.
understand. It's really nice that now people from the elder generations have started understanding it. They've started acknowledging that a thing like this exists.
Yes.
And they've actually started being more considerate of the mental health of others.
Yes.
And it's not, I don't think it's a thing common in youngsters only. I think at this point of time, even the elder generation, many people from the elder generation are also facing depression or other anxiety issues and stress related to different things. So it's really nice that somehow you also managed to talk about mental health, which is definitely something we should incorporate in every dialogue that we're having, because it's becoming quite a difficult issue these days, quite a something to talk about. It actually becomes one of those integral, it becomes like an integral to a conversation these days, because this issue is it's at peak these days.
Yes, yes. It should be.
So
it should be discussed.
Your relationship, the relationship between your hobbies and interests and profession actually have a lot to do with how your mental health is.
Yes.
So you have advised our youngsters, and you have also requested the elder ones, which is lovely.
So, can I say something?
Yes,
You yourself are a young lawyer.
Yes.
You face the pressures of your legal profession.
Definitely.
And I believe you also follow music as a passion.
I don't think I follow music as a passion. I am deeply interested in it, and I'm quite inclined to it since childhood.
Right.
And I love it. It's my go-to. So when I'm feeling a
So
certain
there
way,
you are. Why don't you give us a little bit of that as well?
I'll do that because in the last video I did it. So I've started doing it now. There's this song. I would like to sing something that everybody can relate to. It's from the old times, of course. People would anticipate a different result right now, but I think I'll go with this one. सितारों की महफिल ने करके इशारा कहा अब तो सारा जहां है तुम्हारा मोहब्बत जवां हो खुला आसमां हो करे कोई दिल आरज़ू और क्या ये रातें मौसम नदी का किनारा ये चंचल हवा हाँ
Beautiful.
That was
Lovely.
a little bit of it. I can't sing the whole song.
So you're not to give it up. That's the lesson.
I haven't taken it up is the problem. There's nothing to give up.
No.
It was
I
a
don't
lovely,
agree.
lovely conversation with you, sir. And I'm so glad we had this conversation. A lot of smiles, a lot of discussion over music and law, advices and requests. It's been a beautiful time. It's been interesting, and we're more than glad to see that people are talking about mental health. People are talking about their hobbies, their interests. It's quite a different thing. Not very conventional, not something we actually would see on a channel that deals with legal issues. And we are trying to keep it more subtle about this, but definitely invite more and more people, invite more interesting people. Thanking you again, sir, for this interesting conversation that we had. We would love for other people to join us, other lawyers or judges or whoever it is from the legal fraternity, because we only deal with the legal fraternity. Otherwise, I would also like to include everybody else. But it's wonderful. It's wonderful meeting these people, having these people with us. And of course, it's great for the viewers to engage in a site where a senior advocate is talking about music and how much he's inclined and how much he's invested in it. We'd like to talk to more people about it in our next episodes, in the next conversations that we're going to have. We're going to have more and more people. Please stay tuned to Livelaw. Please watch these videos, share these videos, and make sure that you're able to promote what we are trying to do here on Livelaw. Looking forward to another episode of the same series. More interesting people, more lawyers, more musicians, more artists, more poets. It's going to be an interesting journey. Thank you so much for being with us. Thank you so much for all the support that you've shown. Please keep supporting. Please subscribe to Livelaw.